We are live from New Delhi. You're watching DD India, India's voice to the world. This is Express News. I'm Abhishek Mahajan. Coming up in the next half an hour. On his visit to the southwestern coastal state of Goa, India's Prime Minister Narendra Modi inaugurated ONGC Sea Survival Centre. ONGC Sea Survival Centre has been developed as a one-of-a-kind integrated sea survival training centre to advance the Indian sea survival training ecosystem to global standards. Exercises in simulated and controlled harsh weather conditions shall enhance sea survival skills of trainees and thus potentially increase the chances of safe escape from real-life disasters. With an aim to encourage and foster startups and integrated them into the energy value chain, Prime Minister Narendra Modi inaugurated India Energy Week 2024. It will be India's largest and only all-encompassing energy exhibition and conference, which will serve as a catalyst for India's energy transition goals. Around 17 energy ministers from different countries, over 35,000 attendees and more than 900 exhibitors are participating in the exhibition. While addressing the event, Prime Minister Narendra Modi said that India will witness an investment of $67 billion in the energy sector over the next 6 years. He further said that in the first 6 months of this financial year, India's GDP rate has once again increased by 7.5%. Prime Minister also inaugurated and laid the foundation stone of projects worth over $160 million in Goa. He also distributed appointment letters to 1,930 new government recruits across various departments under Rozgar Mela. Prime Minister dedicated National Institute of Technology Goa's campus and National Institute of Water Sports to boost the developmental process in the state. Around 10 killed and 59 others injured after an explosion at a firecracker factory in Indian state Madhya Pradesh on Tuesday. PM has announced 2 lakh rupees to the next of kin of each deceased and rupees 50,000 for the injured. India's Foreign Minister Dr. S. Jaishankar held talks covering bilateral cooperation with British Shadow Foreign Secretary David Lammy and Shadow Secretary of State for Business and Trade Jonathan Reynolds in New Delhi. Jonathan Reynolds also met India's Commerce and Industry Minister Piyush Goyal. The two leaders discussed India-UK trade and business relations. On the 5th day of budget session of India's Parliament, the Upper House has passed the Constitution Scheduled Tribes Order Amendment Bill 2024 and Constitution Scheduled Caste and Scheduled Tribes Orders Amendment Bill 2024. Lok Sabha, the lower house of the Indian Parliament, has passed the Public Examination Prevention of Unfair Means Bill 2024. A terrorist identified as Riaz Ahmed has been arrested by the officials of New Delhi Railway Station Police Station. He is accused of procuring weapons from terrorists based in Pakistan and of conspiracy. India's Himalayan state Uttarakhand Chief Minister Pushkar Singh Dhami tabled the Uniform Civil Code Bill in the State Assembly on Tuesday. Election Commission of India has advised political parties are advised not to use children in election campaigns in any form. India Coast Guard ship Varaha, an offshore patrol vessel, is on a 3-day visit to Kenya as part of the overseas deployment of Indian Coast Guard ships to Africa. India's Consumer Affairs Minister Piyush Goyal launched the sale of rice under Bharat brand and flagged off 100 mobile vans in New Delhi today. The Indian markets ended in green on Tuesday. Sensex jumped 454.67 points to settle at 72,186.09. While Nifty climbs 157.70 points to 21,929.40. Rupee settles 2 paise lower at 83.05 against the US dollar. Gold future maturing on 5th April stood at rupees 62,262 per 10 grams on Multi-Commodity Exchange of India Limited. Silver futures maturing on 5th March stood at rupees 70,370 per kg on the MCX. The hovering inflation in Pakistan has led local stores owners to raise prices 4 times in the past 2 years to compensate for soaring costs. Asian shares edged up on Tuesday, although investors were cautious after a slide on Wall Street amid diminishing expectations of a near-term Federal Reserve rate cut. The India Met Department today said that cold wave conditions are likely to prevail in parts of Himachal Pradesh, Punjab, Haryana and Delhi for the next 2 days. As per the National Center of Seismology, an earthquake of 4.3 magnitude struck Afghanistan on Tuesday. The depth of the earthquake was 10 kilometers. Mexico's Popocatépetl volcano has emitted a plume of volcanic gas and ashes, causing authorities to declare a yellow alert in the vicinity. Italy's Mount Terminillo ski resort is facing a winter shutdown due to rising temperatures. Ski lifts are switched off and snow cannons are abandoned on the slopes. The resort, which is a popular destination for skiers from Rome, is facing difficulties in producing artificial snow due to high temperatures. With 90% of Italy's piste relying on artificial snow, resorts are considering alternative sources of tourist revenue. A deadly Pacific storm, the second Pineapple Express to sweep the west coast in less than a week, causing torrential downpours, street flooding and mudslides. Extreme weather advisories were posted across parts of California and southwestern Arizona, where 35 million people live. The National Weather Service reported over 10 inches of rain across Los Angeles, with more expected before showers taper off on February 5th. Tokyo experienced less disruption than expected due to heavy snowfall overnight. Commuters outside Shinjuku Station, which has 3.6 million daily passengers, reported minimal delays. So far, 105 people in Tokyo have been admitted to hospital after slipping and falling in the snow. Japan's weather department issued a heavy snowfall warning for Tokyo for the first time this year. Devastating forest fires in Chile's Valparaiso region have led to the loss of at least 123 lives and have destroyed over 11,000 hectares of land, and thousands of homes have been damaged. India's Prime Minister Narendra Modi conveyed his wishes for the speedy recovery and good health to King Charles III after he was diagnosed with cancer. British Prime Minister Rishi Sunak wished King Charles a full and speedy recovery after the monarch was diagnosed with cancer. Australian Prime Minister Anthony Albanese wished King Charles a speedy recovery following the announcement of cancer diagnosis. 6 people, including 3 police officers, were wounded in an attempted terror attack in front of an Istanbul courthouse, which resulted in the 2 shooters being killed in a gun battle. Russia said it has repeatedly asked for details of the Western investigation into the blast at the undersea Nord Stream gas pipeline, but has not received anything. Russia accused US President Joe Biden of carrying out strikes in Iraq and Syria to boost his image for presidential election campaign and not in retaliation for a deadly attack on US soldiers. US President Joe Biden said he was concerned about King Charles' cancer diagnosis and wished him swift recovery. The United States said it did not give pre-notification to Iraq ahead of strikes against militant sites. However, it added that Iraq was informed immediately after the strikes. The Pentagon said it was not aware of any Iranian deaths in the recent US strikes against Iran-linked targets in Iraq and Syria. Iran condemned the United States of attempting to divert public attention away from the Israel-Hamas conflict by infringing on the sovereignty of other countries. US Secretary of State Antony Blinken met Saudi Crown Prince Mohammed bin Salman as Washington sought to forge a Saudi normalization deal with Israel. Antony Blinken held a meeting in Cairo with Egyptian President Abdel Fattah el-Sisi, seeking to advance a Gaza truce and hostage deal mediated by the Egyptians and Qataris. Republican presidential contender Nikki Haley said the border seal being mulled over in the Senate is lacking in some areas. Nikki Haley also blamed former President Trump for asking Congress to stop the bills until after the election. US President Joe Biden said he was disappointed over Dreamers being left out of a bipartisan border security bill headed to a US Senate vote this week. The United States said it was disappointed that Hungary's ruling party blocked an opportunity for a vote on Sweden's NATO bid. The United Nations announced appointment of an independent review group to assess whether UNRWA was working with neutrality after many member states paused agency's funding. UN Secretary General Antonio Guterres announced that UNRWA's review will be conducted by an independent review group led by former French Foreign Minister Catherine Colonna. Mexico's President Obrador proposed sweeping constitutional reforms, including measures to overhaul the judiciary, electoral law, pensions and environmental regulations ahead of presidential election. Police lined the streets of Mexico City as dozens of animal rights activists protested outside a bullfighting arena, demanding that lawmakers abolish the centuries-old tradition. Senegal's parliament voted to approve an amended election postponement bill that rescheduled the presidential vote for December 15th, despite an opposition attempt to block proceedings in the National Assembly. Thailand's Office of the Attorney General said former Prime Minister Thaksin Shinawatra could be charged with royal insult, extending his current one-year conviction. China said it was carrying out research in its vessel at port in Maldives. China said research is exclusively for peaceful purposes. Australian Prime Minister Anthony Albanese said it was an outrage that a Beijing court handed Australian writer Yang Hengjun a suspended death sentence on espionage charges. Taiwanese ally Guatemala said it was considering reaching out to develop former trade ties with China, although it plans to maintain its existing relations with Taiwan. German Chancellor Olaf Scholz and French Prime Minister Gabriel Attal expressed optimism that joint defense projects will be successful despite multiple delays. Northern Ireland's newly elected First Minister Michelle O'Neill said that the regional government was in need of more funding to deliver public services. Tension rises in Haiti's capital, Port-au-Prince, as people protested against the government for failing to tackle crime in the island. Protesters marched to New Zealand's town of Waitangi as official celebrations competed with protests against proposed government policies that threaten indigenous rights. Security footage released by London's Metropolitan Police showed the suspect in a South London chemical attack at a supermarket on the same day as the incident. Thousands protested against right-wing extremism in the German city of Frankfurt as citizens showed concern about strengthening of right-wing political party AfD. Spanish farmers mobilized their tractors near the northern Catalan city of Girona to block traffic on the country's main highways, joining protests spreading across Europe as anger in the sector grows. Farmers from agricultural regions of Italy also marched to Rome in tractor convoy to join wide-range protests across Europe over EU's agricultural and environmental rules. The Drass Winter Carnival 2024, known as Jashin-e-Fateh, came to a spectacular close in Drass in India's north. The event was organized by the Indian Army. Peruvians gathered on a field in Cusco to settle old scores as part of a ritual fight to remember historic tensions over land for cultivation. Called La Lucha de Tocto or the Tocto fight in English, rival groups are formed for the Peruvian fighting, with participants using slings to throw rocks at rivals. Shanghai's Yuzhuan Garden was lit up with dragon lanterns to celebrate the upcoming Lunar New Year of the Dragon, which falls on February 10th. A New Jersey animal shelter offered care to help control the overpopulation of feral cats in the area. Overpopulation of feral cats is a huge problem in the US. Search engine giant Google named some of the worst offenders in the surveillance software industry and called on the United States and its allies to do more to rein in the sale and misuse of spy tools. Chilean vets are helping the cats and dogs that were injured in the wildfires. Among the many killed, local animals were also affected. February 6 is the death anniversary of renowned Indian singer Lata Mangeshkar. The Indian Singers and Musicians Right Association paid homage to the late singer. Streamer Prime Video India on Tuesday announced Love Storya, a 6-part series that will chronicle the extraordinary love stories of 6 real-life couples. The show is backed by filmmaker Karan Johar's dramatic entertainment. It will premiere on February 14th. Hrithik Roshan and Deepika Padukone star of Fighter earned Rs 178.60 crore at the domestic box office. A teaser of Ada Sharma's upcoming film Basta, the Naxal story, has been released on Tuesday. Renowned filmmaker Atli released the teaser of his upcoming film Baby John. Hanuman, released on January 12th, has crossed the 300 crore rupee mark at the global box office. Country music star Toby Keith passed away at the age of 62 on Monday. As per reports, the singer had been battling with stomach cancer. The next installment in the Jurassic World franchise will be released on July 2nd next year. The official title of the film is yet to be released. Apple has had its first box office flop. Urgile, the $200 million spy thriller, debuted with only $18 million in ticket sales. India's Union Minister of Youth Affairs and Sports Anurag Singh Thakur inaugurated the BIMSTEC Aquatic Championship 2024 in New Delhi today. India is hosting the championship from 5th to 10th February as an initiative to promote and strengthen regional unity and cooperation. India's fast bowler Jasprit Bumrah is likely to be rested for the test at Rajkot, considering the workload he will have during IPL 2024 and then get up for the highly anticipated T20 World Cup later this year. Kane Williamson followed his century in the first innings with another as New Zealand led South Africa by 528 runs with 6 second innings wickets in hands at stumps on Tuesday on the 3rd day of the first test. Fast bowler Javier Bartlett ran through the West Indies lineup with another impressive total of 4 for 21 as Australia swept the One Day International Series with another resounding 8-wicket win on Tuesday. The organisers of the exhibition match between the Hong Kong team and MLS club Inter Miami withdrew their application for government funds on Monday after Lionel Messi missed the match. Speaking to media for the first time since the team and their co-owner David Beckham were booed off the field, Messi said on Tuesday it was unfortunate that he was unable to play, citing swelling in his abductor muscle. In Premier League, Phil Foden scored a brilliantly composed hat-trick as Manchester City turned on the style to earn a 3-1 comeback win at battling Brentford. Manchester United defender Lisandro Martinez will be sidelined for 8 weeks with a knee injury sustained in Sunday's 3-0 home win over West Ham United. Olympic champions Brazil suffered a setback in the bid to secure a place at this year's Paris Games after the under-23 team slumped to a shock 1-0 defeat by Paraguay in the final for South American qualifying tournament. Formula One racing team Red Bull on Monday said they are investigating a complaint against their Formula One team boss Christian Horner, but the Austrian company did not give any details about the allegations. Alright, that's all we have in this edition of Express News. You stay tuned for more news and updates.